Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday night, and last week was Wednesday night, but we're trying to stick to Tuesdays, okay? But anyway, I am Rockside. I'm joined by Malafi again. It's the Redirect podcast, guys. How are we getting on this week? It's been a big week for news, on and off. I hope everybody's well. I hope everyone's home and safe. Do you want me to start, Ken, or do you want to start?
You go ahead.
Okay. So, what have I been doing? Well, I've been playing Valheim with everybody because, Valheim's pretty good. Seriously, if you haven't started already, pick it up. What else have I been playing? I did a run through of Resident Evil 3 again, the remake, in the last few days, just to see how I feel about it. And yet again, I'm still confused as to how I feel about it. What else have I been doing? I'm still playing through the Final Fantasy VII NES remake. Brilliant. Really enjoying that. That's good fun. Just what else have I played? Oh, yes. I've been playing through Monster Sanctuary, which is kind of like Pokemon meets a Metroidvania, and I'm loving it. I think it's really entertaining. It's a nice concept. I know it's been out a while since the last October, but it's a nice new concept for me.
Seems nice and chill as well.
It is, yes, very laid back, and I've been naming the creatures I catch some very unique names. But yeah, I think that's all I've been playing for the last week. I'm not actually sure. Over to you, Ken.
Right. Well, I've just been the usual way I've been lately. Things are starting to come together.
Oh, Ken.
What?
That's a lovely t-shirt. Where did you get that?
Oh, just you mean this one?
Oh, it's lovely.
This one. We actually, the logo as well was actually made by himself. That just hopped into the chat as well.
The sexy lad, yep. What's the story, man?
Yeah, this is all the stuff from Teespring. A lot of it started to show up, and I couldn't be happier with it. Like this redirect cup, it's constantly down here. It's what I'm constantly using. We do have a Manamfi Corp cup upstairs as well, but Kelly's after claiming that. Been playing a lot of Valheim as well. It's games like that I can get very lost in. Just for the fact that this seems to have been a little bit better. I feel it's a little bit better than the likes of Ark and Conan Exiles and stuff, because the difficulty curve stays the same. It's not the case of you get your tier 1 type of gear, it's still very hard. You get your tier 2 type of gear, it's a little bit easier. You get the top tier, it's the easiest thing ever. It's constantly evolving, and I'm loving it so far. The fact that it's still early access, there's a lot of stuff that they haven't implemented yet. I cannot wait. Excuse me. I cannot wait until that progresses further. And we haven't done more of the Melathon yet, but that is making a return tomorrow, where I'm already after organising it with a couple of people. I forgot to say it to Missy Kitty, but I'm assuming that she'll be okay with joining. Please correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to be doing a bit of Operation Raccoon City and perhaps Resident Evil Outbreak tomorrow. But then, yeah, before the weekend, I am going to be looking to do the CVX Door Skip and Resident Evil 0. I'm hoping to try to get the two of them knocked out in one day. But we'll see what happens. That's been me basically. But realistically, as Roxy said a moment ago, there has been a lot of stuff going on lately. We have a couple of things, as usual. We have our 4 or 5 little tidbits that we'll spend a couple of minutes on, and then we have our main attraction, so to say, which, as you can see by the title of the stream, fuck off. Which is Blizzconline, as they've named it this time around, because of course needing it to not be in a physical space, you know. But in regards to
Whoever named it, like I want to find them and like, are you okay?
it's
Did
catchy
something
though,
go wrong at home?
but you have to admit it's catchy. Because like TwitchCon, they changed TwitchCon to TwitchCon Online.
And like STDs are catchy. Still doesn't make them good.
You'll remember them though. Am I wrong?
Fair point.
um,
It's a fair point.
so
I'll give you that.
if we go into our first little bit of information, we've stumbled across information about. We were only recently talking about indie developers last week, about how they seem to be putting a lot of things back to the source of what we loved and enjoyed back in the day. And right next to indie developers is the modding community.
I
There's
loved them.
there's a mod
I love them
after
so much.
being made for Dark Souls, which is called Dark Souls Nightfall, and so much content is after being added to it, and so much mechanics have been slightly changed that it's not so much a mod, it's more as if it's like a sequel to the game. So if you want to, because I know you're a very big Dark Souls person, Rockside. Like, well, what did you think about this the first time you saw it?
Oh man, I actually like think this is incredible. It's such an interesting mod. Basically, what you're doing is you're kind of playing the game backwards, but it starts off like just as you know as the actual game ends. So, what is the name of the final boss in Dark Souls One?
Dark Souls One,
Uh,
was that Gwyn?
Daughters of Ash.
No, Daughters of Ash was the name of the mod that this guy made previously
Oh,
that
sorry.
everyone knew him for. It was Gwyn, wasn't it?
Gwyn, yeah, sorry. Yes, it is Gwyn. It picks up just after like what happens is you're in the asylum
Hmm.
and you go out, you get picked up and brought off, and you jump down this big massive hole. But you can actually see, as far as I can see from the video I was watching, it looks like you can see just the point where Gwyn disintegrates, and when you kill a boss and they explode and whatever, and then you pick up an item off of Gwyn and you start your journey from there. Uh, But some of the cool things that I was like, first of all, you pick up one of the coolest swords in the game pretty early on, and you pick up like a full ninja outfit. You kind of look like
Ryu
Ryu
Hayabusa.
Hayabushi from Ninja Gaiden. When you pick up all the gear and you head off, and
What we'll do is while you're
you
chatting away there, we actually have a little bit of footage. Like it is a full 20-minute video of the work in progress
yeah, yeah.
of the way this looks, but we'll just skim through a bit of it. But just so you guys can see it while we're talking about it.
Um, yeah, so as I said, you start off in the asylum, um, but you pick up the sword and stuff like that, and you jump down, and you'll see in a second. Actually, if you just fast forward it a little bit, there is a point where he jumps down. You want to be leaving, you want to be out of the asylum. So if you can just get past it, because everyone's seen what the asylum looks like by now. Um, so yeah, he just picked up a sword there, and like there's day and night cycles in this version of the game. So I don't know if the day and night cycles also like coincide with what
Affects
enemies
spawns
you're
or
gonna fight,
something.
etc.
Oh, that looks
But
unbelievable.
doesn't it? Um, but yeah, like day and night cycles. Could you imagine like if a night cycle changes how a boss reacts or something? If you find him at night instead of the day, or does he drop different loot? These are all questions I have. But yeah, you see, you just jump straight down, and you'll see it now. He
And
looks
that's
at it.
his boss arena, yeah.
Yeah. So now watch. You'll see it. See the explosion from the boss. So Gwyn has just died,
And then
and someone's running out the door.
that's as if it's you after passing the game, or someone else
Yeah,
is just after passing Dark Souls.
exactly. So I'm not sure if, from this point of view, you're actually hunting down what would have been your former self, or how it's put together. Um,
I'll fast forward a little bit more there.
yeah, wait till you see him in the ninja gear. I think this gear looks sick, and you learn some pretty cool things early on. Like you learn how to shadow step,
Right.
and stuff like that early on, so you can like you'll see it in a second. Like um, that's him in the ninja gear there. Like I just don't know. Is it? No, he's just about to pick it up. Sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Shades.
Look how cool he looks when he puts this on. I just think it's incredible. The modern communities just deserve so much. Like, look at that.
Yeah, yeah, that is Ninja Gaiden.
Like, he looks unreal.
And it's just the whole thing that, as we were saying earlier, like it's just like the modding communities, because we've seen things like this, not to this extent maybe, but we've seen a lot of things like this, and there was
See
the
the
shadow
shadow step
steps,
there.
yeah. Like especially with some of the Resident Evil community where they've made mods that completely changed the story of the game as well, even changing the characters you play as, changing the enemy types even. um there's so many different ones, and it's just the one thing that's going to have a lot of hype behind this mod. Not only do you know the fact that it looks so good already, but the fact that it's made by the dude who made the Daughters of Ash mod. Like anytime you hear about Dark Souls modding, you hear about Daughters of Ash. Like
Yeah.
it is a renowned mod.
No, it's a very this is very well polished and constructed. There is one part where just something I think it's one of these enemies anyway, you can see here. But one thing I hate, this is like something that grinds my gears. People who play test things, why do they just end up dying so much?
Because they want to make the game look harder than it is.
It annoys me. It's up there with the pet peeves, you know?
Mm.
Oh yeah, there's a shadow
That
step. Like, I
shadow
think
step looks sick.
it's this here. Yeah, sorry. You'll just see a man run by him. He just keeps going. He's just like, where the fuck is he going?
But maybe that's supposed to give off the impression of no, don't go this way. It's dangerous. You know?
No,
Yeah, because there's a
like,
bunch of
see,
them running through the fire.
Yeah,
Again, it is work in progress though, so that could be a bug for all we know.
it could be, but I just think it looks like brilliant. I think it's a very interesting addition to it. If you want to
Uncle
put it
B,
that way.
thank you so much for that subscription and it's further supporting the channel.
Uh, this guy's sword. Can you see it? It's like a big curved thing.
I thought it was a magician's hat for a second.
It looks like I don't know. Like, is it a tusk or something? Like, it's
No,
just so odd looking.
that's the tail of one of the scorpions, the giant scorpions.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, like that, like realistically, all of that is looking amazing.
I just
And
think it looks cool. I think it's a very interesting step for the games. Like, obviously, we're not going to get any more Dark Souls. Dark Souls as a series is done. But if people keep doing stuff like this, you never know. People that are making these mods could be brought in to work on future titles for From Software, like Elden Ring, etc.
mm-hmm. Elden Ring, and you just had to do it, like, but yeah, there is it does, someone mentions here as well, is the fact that of course they're after constructing all of the enemies in a sense where they're unique. There is elements of the original game, but it's just every enemy. This is what worries me. This is what scares me. Like, I'm not good at these types of games. They're more aggressive.
Yeah,
And they have tricks which you would not have seen or gotten used to in a previous version of any sort of Soulsborne.
kind of okay with that though, because I like the aggression, like come at me kind of thing. That's what Bloodborne was, and I mean, out of all of them, that's my favorite. So, but I can deal with that. I can deal with it being super aggressive, super fast paced, heavy hitting, because then the mobs themselves will make more mistakes. But yeah, that's the newest news when it comes to Dark Souls. It's called Dark Souls Nightfall. I have no idea when it's going to be, but the day and night cycle thing has me like bewildered.
It does
Um,
look unbelievable.
I just want to know, does it change? Like, what does that change the day and night? Is it going to change what mobs are in what places? Does it change what bosses could be in places? You have to pick up, I think it's 12 cylinders you have to get to complete it.
Hmm.
So yeah, a new challenge from an old game.
And really can't wait for it. Um, this next bit, it's more your thing again in regards to the fact that it's hardware.
It is. So, was it last week or the week before? We this way. It's this way.
No, no, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Oh, there's a hype train going.
We've never had a hype. I've never even had one on my own channel.
I've had
Anyway,
one, but they never caught it on that year in review thing.
okay. So Nvidia, we were talking last week or the week before. No, it was the week before because we had Clouded with.
Yeah,
They have the 3060 range of cards coming out Friday, 25th. Is that Friday?
it's fairly soon. Yeah.
It's this week. But a couple of companies have come out and given there's different versions of it and different specs. So there's Palette and Gainward are coming out with lower spec versions of the cards to drive the prices down more. Um, so there's going to be an 8 gig model as well as a 6 gig model of these cards coming out. Which will obviously is to complete with the fact that there's going to be there's the 12 gigabyte, and then on top of that, I'm not even sure they might do a TI model. There's always seems to be a 60 Ti model, so we'll see what happens there. But the fact that there's going to be a 6 gigabyte, an 8 gigabyte, and a 12 gigabyte, all of the same card, I don't know. Like, obviously, means there's going to be more cards on the market. There's nothing wrong with that, but the 8 and 6 gig, well, especially 6 gigabyte, are they going to
Mm.
use cheaper parts? Are these going to be like more? I don't know. It seems kind of confusing that they'd have so many variations of these cards.
See, at the same time though, it really makes you think: is this is Nvidia, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It would really make you think though: is Nvidia just trying to come up with a way to battle the way the market is at the moment? Because due to the whole fact that at the moment the prices on the older cards are hiked up because of Bitcoin mining,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the new cards are currently going through the what the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series went through a couple of months back, where people are just getting them by the buttload and scalping them, and trying to get them off for twice the price. So it really seems that if you're building a PC right now, like a GPU is hard to get your hands on right now.
Yeah, I think it is just to flood the market. I think what it is that like when they made the 1660 Ti's and all them, that like the RAM chips and stuff of them, they must have had tons of this kind of stuff left over. So they were just kind of like, well, we have the new architecture. If we just put these on it, and we can lower the price. So like obviously we talked about it 2 weeks ago where we said that the 12 gigabyte models were £300, €300, whatever it was, $330, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so is the 6 gigabyte model going to be £250 or whatever, and the 8 gigabyte model going to be 280 or something like that? See, I don't know how you can price these things.
See, I've never heard of that as well. Um, it's mentioned there in the chat that sometimes companies will put their stock of GPUs down as something other than a GPU, so that the scripts that people have running to pick up as many of the items as possible, that it confuses them.
Yeah,
That's actually quite smart.
it's genius to be fair. Like it's these guys are the Robin Hoods. Um,
And for anyone who is wondering as well, like Bitcoin is one of the cryptocurrencies. There's Dogecoin. There's hundreds of them at this stage. But basically, what it is that years ago, people found out about this whole thing with Bitcoin mining, where it was the stronger graphics cards that you had, the more of them you could do. How the process actually happens, I don't know. But it's about having the strongest graphics card possible to be able to get as many as you can. And of
But
course, the more the
what actually happens with those is like, say you were going to buy something off me, you wouldn't actually know it's me. I'd be a hash number in the cloud, and you'd have one as well. It's how you keep things secret, but you can still pay each other. But another machine has to carry out that process, the transaction process, and that's what Bitcoin mining is. It's they're carrying out all these little tiny tasks like confirming bills, sending the data back and forth. But when that happens, they take a little bit off the end, and that's how people Bitcoin mine, and that's how they end up with these big massive farms of
so
Bitcoin mines.
so it's kind of like a version of those scams that used to happen. Like, not saying that this is a scam, but there was something that used to happen years ago in the banks. There was something about someone they got arrested for like for some reason grand larceny is the thing that comes to mind, but I can't remember what the term is. Where someone was
skimming.
working in a bank, and they did it where every time there was a transaction, 0.00001 of a cent went to their bank account, and then like 6 months later it turned out to be like $6 or $7 million, because billions were going through this bank. But they eventually got caught, obviously.
But that's exactly what this is. But it's basically to keep it from being like a monitored kind of bank thing. Is that these things are done open source in the cloud kind of thing, and there's just people with their machines hooked up and all that kind of stuff that are carrying out these tasks. So your computer's carrying out a task for someone else's transactions, basically. It's like hosting a website like that.
Yeah, so the more equations it can do, the more you earn. So yeah, that would be why the better the graphics card, the more you get. Yeah,
more it can solve. Yeah.
So that's where dual SLI and all that used to come from and everything. Like, no one seems to be doing that anymore. I remember hearing when the 30 series was first coming out, and there was the 3070, the 3080, and the 3090. And the 3090 was the only one that had SLI capability. You think it would be the lower end one.
Funniest thing about SLI and all that stuff, I remember when that was like nearly a necessity to play some games.
The original Crisis.
But all it did was use the RAM. It never used any of the processing chips. All it did was literally, it was like having an additional RAM chip in your graphics card. It didn't, like, you couldn't attach any video out to it or anything like that. It was literally just running. It was just a fan running. Like, but nowadays, like, cards are too powerful to need it. Like, unless you're running servers or you're, a big massive games company where you want to be rendering, like terabyte games and stuff like that. I don't see a need for it. Not a lot anymore.
Well, moving on anyway. People are going to get sick of hearing this stuff.
No, I don't care.
CD Projekt Red are in the shit again. So basically, they're now starting to look into people on Twitter that are sharing links to various bits of source material and source code that's been linked.
Just stop you there for a second, right? 2 weeks ago, they tweeted out saying, "Oh, we don't care."
Yeah.
Now they're pulling regular people off of Twitter because they're sharing links to that stuff that got leaked. What is going on?
Obviously, they thought that a certain bit of information wasn't found, and they must only recently found out that a certain bit of, let's say, top secret or whatever was discovered. Like the way it's worded here. Earlier in this month, an unidentified actor, in quotes, bypassed the developers' firewalls and gained access to the source codes for Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher 3, and an alleged version of The Witcher 3 that was never released, and Gwent, the card game for The Witcher. After refusing to meet the hackers' demands, the aforementioned source codes were ultimately sold, not just leaked, sold. And then recently, Gwent's source code has been found online, and CD Projekt Red is taking swift action. So I suppose a lot of that's the big culprit of this here. They thought it was just source material for maybe 2077 and stuff like that, whereas now, in a sense, Gwent, which is something that they like, a lot of people play that, a lot of people love it, and now essentially the source code is out there in a kind of an abandonware kind of sense.
They were told, like, these guys left a note saying that they have all this stuff. Like, at what point do you go, like, they were like, okay, we're going to put up this ransom, blah, blah, blah. If you don't do, we're going to sell this information. Like, what were they thinking? Like, oh, these guys are just taking the piss because they wrote, what was it, that they had been pwned or something on the message?
Yeah, they used a bit of like immature
Yeah, yeah.
threats or whatever.
But now that it's out there, they're like, oh no, I didn't think they were going to do it. Mammy. Like, fuck off.
Mm.
That's what I have to say. If someone tells you that they have, and you can see it on your logs, that someone has come in and has looked through all these archives and has taken all this information, like, then you have to be, like, adamant that either you can recover it, you can find the culprit, or you pay, like, like paying what is owed to, or what these people demand, is the easiest way of finding out who these people are.
Mm.
Like, giving into that demand.
Did you see the way that they actually went about getting rid of all this on Twitter? Something that is going to be mentioned again in the podcast for a different company, but it was DMCA strikes.
Yeah. Like,
DMCA
you can't DMCA.
again.
You like, it's not DMCA because these people aren't, they're not.
The way they're putting it is
they're
that
not
it's
using the
information,
content.
but it's information that's posted without permission. Like, it doesn't
Yes.
matter. It doesn't matter if
completely
you're getting monetary gain or not.
I completely understand it, but this is the internet in 2021.
No, I know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is the way companies look at it now.
Like,
Do you know what I mean?
it's just so stupid. Like, they handled this situation all wrong. And I still worry about the things when it comes to, like, GOG.com and stuff like that, because they own that.
They still seem to be. It's kind of, again, something we talked about recently in regards to these companies. It's another case of, it looks like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, because they're going through all this stuff at the moment. All this is happening on Twitter and everything like that. Yet they're still talking about the fact that they are planning their expansions and their PS5 and Xbox Series versions of Cyberpunk 2077 and everything like that. Like, it's still, full steam ahead, according to them, despite the fact that all this is happening on the side.
Yeah, but, like, full steam ahead or whatever else. Do not. You're basically telling your consumer, like, these people are, like, the only reason that anyone's interested in this is because they like your games and they want to know what you have coming up. Technically, this could be the biggest, free publicity that they ever get. There's a side to this where people could be, feel sympathetic towards them, be like, okay, I understand, but, like, obviously this, like Cyberpunk had that problem, blah blah blah. But this happened to them, so we can expect delays with stuff because they're trying to fix this thing first. You know what I mean? There's a side to it that they should be looking at going, well, lads, we can kind of use this to our advantage. Like, this is free publicity. People are going to check these things out, and then they're probably going to go, if they see something they like in it, they're going to go, I'm sure I have to play that now.
Yeah. Especially with The Witcher 3 being mentioned, because
that's how
people are, like, people go crazy for that game.
Yeah. But that's how I thought they were going to handle it when they said, when they put out the tweet and they were making a laugh. I thought they were like, "This is free publicity, great. Let's work against this. Let's use this to our advantage." But they've not. They've gone against it again, and now they're taking out. They're aiming at people that did not touch their information. They are just looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not. It's not fair for them to try and punish the people who are not directly involved with this situation. Everybody is curious. If I told you, Ken, I have a code written on my wall up here that has the lotto numbers on it, you'd be zooming in to see it. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, these people, that's what they're interested in. They want to see this new stuff. If I had a copy, yeah, exactly, enhance. If I had a copy of Resident Evil 8 here, actually, the prime example, this time last year, I had Final Fantasy VII Remake before it came out. And Ken wanted to see it. And I said, well, I'm not going to stream it until the day, blah, blah. I said, but I'll show it to you on Discord in a call. So we could look through the first couple of bits of it. And, we talked about it, but we never brought it outside of that conversation.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But if you have,
yeah,
people are like, the whole being human is curiosity. You always want to know something or learn more. These people are just interested in what has been taken. And it could be two sides of it. They could be worried. They could be the same as me, a person with a GOG account that CD Projekt Red own. Could be worried that their information's been leaked online. Like, people could be getting thousands and thousands of spam emails now because of this, because people are selling people's account information online. It's not just about CD Projekt Red. Like any of their fans or anyone with a GOG account should be worried as well now.
Just anything with an affiliation to them, yeah. Well, but we're going with this, right? And I know what that's in reference to, but no worries whatsoever. So from talking about that sort of stuff to, I'm just going to show you.
Love this.
We have one or two videos to show with this, and
do you like the mug? My mug or this mug? Same mug.
I can't explain it. You just need to see
hold
this.
on. Just before you start, anyone who has played Valheim, especially anyone who's played it with me, I need to do this.
I have the stuff to do it. We need to try it. So yeah, but without further ado, just take a look at this.
3:28 a.m.
All right, you ready? You want to fly, Brandon?
Sure.
Okay.
That was good. Now we just need distance. We got the height. We just need distance now.
Yeah, it's just getting the right angle.
I think I actually touched the sky.
You hit the fucking tree.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Whoa! Oh god, I got lunch too! What just happened to me?
I love it. I can't even, like, it's just brilliant.
But people took that to another level.
Oh, there's like it's hilarious. I call it the Valheim space program. Like,
it just you thought that would have been funny, right? Where people do it in the way where they just set up what's needed to try to get it done. But people have gone to the point of making launch pads.
Yeah, runways.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I think I didn't unmute this. No, I didn't unmute it. There we go.
What are you doing?
Huh?
I said, what are you doing?
No, it was muted.
Fair enough.
Like I suppose that's one way of getting across the ocean. Like,
Goodbye, Mike.
The thing about it for me is that you move that fast, you make the game lag.
2, 1, go.
he just went backwards.
Yeah, he went up and then went backwards, and just imploded beside a tree.
Just the
So if
stuff people find, like,
if you do see us, building a ramp in the next couple of days, you know what it's for. But I thought it was like when I found this, I thought it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Um, people, I don't know, they either have too much time on their hands or they're just spending it well.
like it's literally been dubbed the Viking space program.
Yes.
I did see that as well. There was a picture. If I try to show it now, I'll end up messing up the camera.
Yeah.
But there was a picture where someone used wood walls, beams, and roofs to make the Millennium Falcon.
What?
I'll send you the
Yeah.
picture there.
We'll put it up on Twitter afterwards.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to do it. But I think we should have like the long jump games, Ken, where we just get a bunch of us and find like
There we go. I just sent that to you there.
we find like some water or something, and we set up one of those docks and see how far we can fling each other. I want to know if like weight has a part to play in it. Like if you have a lot of armor on, do you just kind of like,
Definitely,
go, like,
because
too
you could see each time they were doing it, they had no weapons on them, they had no gear on them.
No, but I think they're doing that just so they don't lose anything.
Yeah, we'll test it out. But take a look at that photo I just sent you.
Taking a look
That
at
was
the
the one that Missy
me.
sent me last night. Like, look at the
Holy
detail
shit,
on that.
that's fucking ridiculous. Okay, no, some people do just have too much time on their hands. It has fucking turrets and everything.
See, you say that, and then there's people who have taken. Do you know the way it was? It was around the time when Minecraft first got unlimited space maps.
Yeah.
There was people who made a 1-to-1 scale, Middle Earth, and then someone else made a 1-to-1 scale Denmark. Do you know
There's
what
just
I mean?
Bo standing in the middle of it.
Just standing in the middle of it with a couple of rare games in his pockets.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like it just really goes to show, like, again, this is an early access game. It's like not even a quarter of the intended mechanics and capabilities and everything are in the game. It's supposed to be based around the time of the Vikings, so there's not supposed to be any sort of fast projectile into the air kind of situation at all. Yet here we are, people are able to bounce themselves off the stars.
So it just didn't. Anyone who was watching my stream who is now here, you'll know that I went and got 2 wolves at the end of our play session, and I've had Missy take care of them, and apparently there's 3 puppies now. Just quick update on the pup situation.
How bad?
It just means I have more things to feed.
So I guess we better get on to the main news of this week, which is something that completely skipped like a lot of people's radars, I'm not going to lie. But the main reason and it's going to happen with a lot of events this year, just because of the fact that everything needs to be online. But BlizzCon, or as they've called it, Blizzconline this year. They've made a couple of announcements. A couple of them are very good. But the first, let me see here. The first thing we're going to show you here is in regards to Diablo 4. They've announced the next class.
The newest class, yeah.
So the
It's-
video is a couple of minutes long, but we'll only look at like the first 30 seconds to a minute of it.
What I think is interesting about this is, obviously they already had um, the Demon Hunter, which is, it's obviously different to the World of Warcraft one and all that. They're all, different universes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this class is quite. I feel like I don't know if I feel like it's needed in Diablo. I feel like there's a lot of classes that are like it.
It really just comes down to what mechanics they're going to give it at the end of the day. Because you could say the same about the Witch Doctor. Like, you would think to yourself, what's a hunter? Especially in regards to how Blizzard handles hunters. And usually it's that dude who can tame a beast, go and do whatever with a bow and arrow or a gun, or whatever the case may be. But then, realistically, yes, there was the Demon Hunter, but that wasn't that was just a bow and arrow and such. And then there was the Witch Doctor, which was able to summon a bunch of different types of pets and not machines, like creatures, animals, demons, stuff like that. Whereas what's
We have.
the hunter going to be like?
Well, it's not even. It's the fact that it's called a rogue. That's kind of what grinds my gears about this. A rogue for me is like a dual dagger wearing, and like entity that goes around. It's all about being stealthy, assassinations. I don't really associate bows with them that much. Like, that's an eviscerate right there. Like, that's what I would consider to be a rogue.
Yes, but no matter what class you're talking about, they do always need to have some form of long range.
But then if it's a rogue, it should be throwing daggers.
Maybe it does have them. We don't know yet.
Yeah, like kunais and stuff like that.
Kunai's throwing
it's interesting.
stars.
It's interesting to see that they've brought a new class to it, because for the series, like, the last thing they brought was the Necromancer. And that was downloaded.
Did you see what they brought back to Diablo 4? A class that wasn't. This is like one of the first things they announced for it, like a year or two ago, was a class that was in Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, but was not in 3, the Druid.
I thought we were going to say the Druid.
I cannot wait for it.
But that's the Diablo 4 news. But, I mean, BlizzCon had so much news. Like, I would like to see how this plays. I feel like they're taking a lot of the originality away from Diablo. They're just kind of mimicking World of Warcraft classes and stuff at this stage.
But how much more can they go with it, though? Do you know what I mean?
I understand that, but like, they can stick to what they do well, or maybe look at, maybe being some sort of class that is like a skeleton king or a werewolf or something like that. Something that's, it's not necessary, but is different to what is out there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening, Blizzard, Activision, whoever you are nowadays,
Activision Blizzard, yeah.
Just send me the paycheck.
So they also did comment on the fact that they know for a fact, and I love the fact that they did this, they have come out and said it will not be out this year. Because previously they did say they were hoping for late 2020, early 2021, but they've openly come out now and said, look, we're sorry, it's not going to be this year. And serious respect to them for that.
Yeah, but there's also a reason why. Next topic.
Well, yeah. So they did announce something else, and this is a video that, I'm sorry, but we need to watch all of this one.
Perfectly okay with that.
I'm very hyped for this. Not having played the original, but wanting to play it. I've never had a copy of it.
I have it down there.
Send me it then.
No, it's mine.
Exactly. There you go. But yeah, if you're wondering what we're bickering about, here you go.
Happy.
Now you know what I seek, Marius. Are these the demons from... Don't do it! It seems you're not acceptable. Look what they've done to me. Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror. Though this be our darkest hour, it may yet be your greatest moment. Not even death can save you from me.
Can't you see that I'm happy? No, but seriously, Diablo 2 is
I needed a smoke
It's-
after that.
like a post-sex cigarette, is it?
Oh, Jesus.
No, Diablo 2 is just it's an incredible game. It really did change how the multiplayer aspect of games in the early 2000s were developing, because like the ideas of MMOs and stuff were out there, with like the likes of Black and White and stuff like that. And then Diablo 2 came, and first of all, it had a ton of Easter eggs. It was the first game where like big items in the game were sold for actual cash on eBay.
Mm.
Um, the it's such a genre changing game altogether, and it had one of the best Easter eggs where you could go to an island that was just full of cows.
And that was started because of, like, I know it wouldn't have been called this back in the day, but it was basically because of a meme where someone said that there was a cow level in the first Diablo.
Yeah, so they just put it in the second one.
But the thing is, the devs did it as I did it. Like, it was one thing that Blizzard was brilliant 4 years ago. I think they showed it as an April Fool's joke years ago. Like, it was in like a PC Gamer magazine now or something like that. Saying, "Oh, do this, and this, and you can find the secret cow level." But then they actually put it into the second one, but said nothing to anyone about it.
Yeah.
But the best thing about this, the fact that it's being remastered as well, and this is the kind of stuff you want to hear. They're changing basically nothing.
No, not a thing. They're giving you the game and the DLC. The DLCs that were with the game. They're not changing any of the way you play it, the way it progresses.
Like, there's
And
a
they
couple
might
of little there's a couple of little
Yeah.
quality of life changes. Like,
Yeah,
there's little things like you can make it that when you run over gold, you pick it up. You don't have to click on it individually. Like, little things like that.
Yeah, there's some quality of life changes, but there's nothing as to what like how enemies are there or what their tactics are. It's the whole game experience, but just polished and brought to the new generation. But there's a couple of other things. Like, first of all, it's great to see the game come back. they have it so that you can play it either as with the new settings, the new graphics and that, or you can reverse back to retro mode, which makes it look like the game originally was.
Which
It's
also
coming,
swaps it from 4.3 to 16.9 and back as well.
yeah, it's coming out this year, but it's not just limited to PC.
It's on everything. It's going to be on Switch. It's going to be on the current gen consoles, the next gen consoles, and it also with the cross progression, and that's not only like PC only or PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 or whatever. If you're playing this on the Switch and then a buddy of yours wants to play with you on the PC, you can take the character you're playing with on the Switch and bring it to that party. They've also made a new lobby system which uses Battle.net, your Battle.net friends list, to be able to invite people. I think it said it was the same way as it used to be, where it's up to 8 people in multiplayer. I'm going to be in love with this. But one thing that I remember talking about the other day, and Fano actually got a little bit excited over it, because it does remind you of the good old days of gaming. You can still set up parties using the TCP/IP stack.
Yeah, you can bring it back to day one. I love that. I love that. You know, the first time I ever played the game was with a mate in his house using one of those old. Do you remember the old Aircom routers, the ones that had the 2 antennas and they were silver with the green lights on them? And we got, like, literally, we were all on laptops, got as close to that as possible so that no one dropped signal. And like the bandwidth on those things was like 40 megs. But like there was like 6 guys in a room and we were like playing it for like somewhere in the region like 48 hours straight with pizzas and beers and everything. And I love that idea of a LAN party where everything is happening around you and like everyone's reacting to you in real time. There's no delays. Now, that's not to say that the router didn't crash or the game didn't crash every now and again, but these things happen. But like old school gaming for me is never going to be something that I get tired of. For me, I love retro. I love the past more than I'm ever going to love the future for gaming.
There was a lot more originality. There was a lot more heart put into it. Like it back in the day, it was about the idea. It wasn't about how much your pocket could be lined.
Well, it was also because games were made to be difficult because they weren't necessarily long, but everything about it was hard.
Mm.
And I think that's why I get my appreciation for like, Dark Souls, Sekiro, and all those games, is because we not only are they hard, but they're just gigantic games. So it's a mixture of both things that I like. But the next one.
So this is something that a lot of people were questioning. And I was one of the people who was. And luckily, the thing that I was worried about, they've addressed. So we'll take a look at the trailer here first, and then I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about, because I know anyone else. I know anyone else.
I love it so much.
I know anyone else who knows about this. Will you shut up? Anyone else who knows about what I'm talking about in regards to my worry, the question is going to come up in your head as soon as you see this.
You dare enter my realm. Your foolishness has brought you to this end. Take my blood and choke on it.
Death to the outsiders!
I'll turn your world upside down.
Oh, look at him.
You are not prepared.
Sexy bastard.
You are not prepared.
You're not.
So
You're not.
So
I wasn't.
my concern when I heard the rumors about whether or not they were going to bring, like, of course, for anyone who doesn't know, like, most people know about World of Warcraft. It's been out, how many years now? And it's gone through countless amounts of expansions. I think it's on its seventh
Seventh or eighth.
or eighth, yeah.
Vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King,
Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria,
Mist of Pandaria,
Warlords of
Legion,
Draenor,
Warlords of Draenor.
and is there new Shadowlands?
No, there is one in between. Battle for Azeroth.
And then Shadowlands.
And then Shadowlands. So 9. There's 9.
And
This was
basically,
an 8-year-old game, 17-year-old game.
yeah. And a lot of us were there from the start. But basically, what people were crying out for was to get the original World of Warcraft experience back the way it was in vanilla. And that's what we've had now for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, right. That.
Which is World of Warcraft Classic, which brings you back to the way it was when it was just Kalimdor, and you had no flying mounts. It was just the Horde against the Alliance. That was it. It was the way it was back in the day. Now, a couple of months ago, they brought the Naxxramas patch, which was the final patch before the first expansion, which was Burning Crusade. And a lot of people were worried just in case, because there is a big percentage of the community, like myself, who thought vanilla was the best experience. Don't get me wrong, I loved the game up until Mists of Pandaria, but I thought vanilla, going into raids with 40 people, you and 39 other people, going into Onyxia's Lair, Molten Core, all those different places, that was my best time with it. And my worry was, if they do progress it into Burning Crusade, does that mean we don't have Classic WoW anymore? So they've addressed this by saying, that what's going to happen is all of the servers which are currently on World of Warcraft Classic, they're all going to be turned into Burning Crusade servers. But they're going to make, I can't remember the proper name for it, but they're basically legacy servers on top of that, where you get a free character transfer to be able to transfer any of your World of Warcraft Classic characters over to these legacy servers, which are going to be brand new ones. And those legacy ones are never going to be updated further than the Naxxramas patch. They will always be vanilla, pre-Burning Crusade, and they will stay that way.
Yeah, they've handled this quite well. What's interesting about this as well is anyone who plays Classic now that has their level 60, when these new servers get launched, that means there's a whole new range of world firsts.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a big impulse of influx of people going in to try get them.
And it's not only that, it's just even seeing the likes of Magtheridon there. Like, I remember, I used to, for some people that might not know, the reason why I have this thing right here, like this statue here of an orc on a wolf, I did used to work for Blizzard, and it was from just before Wrath of the Lich King until after Cataclysm was released. Actually, just before Miss Pandaria. And when I see those boss temples, when I see those fights, it just reminds me of the good days of back then. Just anything to do with that. Like it gives me good nostalgia. To all that.
What's interesting about it for me is, well, first of all, Arena's back.
I think Corey might want to see the statue in better quality.
It is pretty cool. But yeah, I can't. You're wrong, by the way, Ken. Wrath of the Lich King was a good ass, good expansion.
Right.
Cataclysm
You
was
you
dark.
chat away there. I'm gonna do this here.
Yeah. So yeah, Burning Crusade for me. See, I joined World of Warcraft about a year and a half in. So when I joined it, everyone was doing the second last raid of the first installment of the game.
He's a heavy bastard.
It's a big motherfucker, alright.
It's cast iron, man.
It's unreal.
And that was 2007.
Yeah.
Was when I got that.
That's class.
It was basically when Blizzard made the like 30-foot version of this outside their headquarters over in, is it Anaheim?
Yeah. It's one of the coolest things. But yeah, the Burning Crusade for me, like obviously Burning Crusade for anyone who doesn't play World of Warcraft, it doesn't really matter. But for me, it was such a big difference. You remember, like, do you remember getting your first enchants, like, and like getting your first gems,
The jewel crafting, yeah.
yeah. And like having a new use for ore and stuff like that. To what was it called when you change the ore into gems?
Transmuting.
What?
Transmutation or whatever.
No, transmuting is to do with changing how your gear looks.
No, transmuting was where you.
That's it.
Prospecting, yeah.
Thank you. I knew it began with P. I just couldn't. I was going to say prostating, but like I was like, no.
But transmutes was with the where you could turn like gold into a different type of ore and stuff like that, wasn't it?
No. Transmuting is when
you were thinking of transmog.
No.
Transmog was changing the look of your gear.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I didn't do any of the whole, a lot of the crafting in World of Warcraft.
Danny was a beast at it. Like back in the day in WoW, if you needed your epic mount, like you just hire Danny for like a week, and he used to be able to. Do you know the way people were able to just run the auction house?
Yeah.
He was one of them.
Yeah, I was one of them, but simply because all I ever did was get all of the leathers, like the boar, I call it fucking the dragon scales.
The early crafting things.
Yeah, that's basically what I did. I had like 4 bank characters back in Classic, like it was just ridiculous.
I know we're going to want to talk a little bit more about this, but just because we're talking about. Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. I don't have a video for it. Supposedly there was a whole thing of. Yeah, it's a big long thing. There's another video out there that they have that's about 40 minutes long, where they were talking about the development as well of Overwatch 2.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those things. You see games out there. I'm one of those people who are like, do we need an Overwatch 2? Can't you just add what new assets you have to Overwatch 1? Like, I don't mind Overwatch. I quite like Overwatch, actually. But, like, TF2 is still popular.
Like I'm sorry, I need to see this bit again. I'm sorry, and you said as well that you just came in like this is the only bit that you need to know that you need to know of Danny. I'm sorry, I have to hear him say it again.
You are not prepared.
I'm sorry, I just had to hear it again.
Yeah, no, there's no boss in that entire game that like I enjoyed, grinding for and putting the effort in, and like because I played as a rogue anyway, and he dropped the Warglaze of Azeroth, which were the best items I could have at the time. And
Drop both?
I got both, yeah.
Drop both into one fight?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
I farmed them for like 40 weeks, Ken.
Fair enough. No, that's fine.
But yeah, as it was getting to the end, I could actually rogue tank him, which was the thing.
That was one of the when rogues used to be able to get was it 130% dodge chance?
130% evasion, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was the thing. I remember in Classic when I was doing the likes of Blackwing Lair and stuff, it was the whole thing where rogues were able to get over 100% evasion then, and it was a case of like I was a healer. I was a restoration druid, and the rule on it was that if a rogue started taking damage, you don't heal him. And if a rogue died to something other than an insta-kill boss tactic kind of fucking thing, that they get kicked out of the group.
Yeah, life was hard for rogues. And then there was me, who went and got all the arena gear, and then went back to raiding. Like I went into when Black Temple was released.
I don't know. I'd say we're gonna go for this. I'd say, man. And the thing is, I'm not gonna. What I think I might do is, do you know the way there's those free transfers from the current servers, which are going to become Burning Crusade servers, over to those staying vanilla servers? I'm probably going to put my Night Elf Druid over onto one of those, and I'm gonna make a Blood Elf Paladin. If we're going back to it, I'm going to make a Blood Elf Paladin and start from level 1 again. Because
I don't know. I just don't know if I have it in me. It takes so long. Especially like if it's for me, I'm going specifically to get PvP wards. And I just don't want to farm stuff.
That was a motto that was hammered into us during Burning Crusade, actually, especially in Karazhan, during the likes of the Romeo and Juliet boss fight and the Little Red Riding Hood boss fight, that if the tank dies, that if the tank dies, it's because of the healer. If the healer dies, it's because of the tank, and if the DPS dies, it's just because they're stupid.
That's one of the things actually that for Burning Crusade, aggro in Burning Crusade was so like well balanced as well.
Like it wasn't only threat; it was also like it was in a good sense where you couldn't over aggro with just doing too much damage.
It was good. It reminds me of a good time in gaming for me, but I honestly don't think I have it in me to do it again, especially getting mounts. Especially because like all my aims for that whole expansion was to get good in arena. Second of all, there's no way I'm ever going to find a partner for arena like I used to have.
You never know. Might come across someone.
Oh, he'll probably go back playing, but he's
it won't. Like I won't be going near. Like I only ever did PvP when I had to. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know me, I'm all about PvE and co-op. Do you know?
PvP is co-op.
Yeah, against other players, which are going to just walk up to you and go, and you're just dead.
You see, that's where I pop vanish.
You're going to be one of the bastards who's going to be giving that experience to other people.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going back.
But
I'm not going to mutilate.
The one thing that I was saying earlier when I was talking about let me look this up. I want to get footage of this. Realistically as well, in regards to the like, how do you feel? Like, the last one or two BlizzCons were a little lackluster. How do you feel they've done this year? And that question goes out to everyone in the chat as well. Like, more information on Diablo 4, a Diablo 2 remaster, which is staying true to the original, and Burning Crusade Classic. Like,
what I'm worried about,
what do you think?
Is all they announced for actual World of Warcraft, like retail. Like, I think I feel bad for anyone who continues to play retail. is they just announced that part of Shadowlands, there's a new raid or something opening up, and I'm kind of like, yeah, it's called Chains of Domination. It's in like it's the last part of that, I think. Um, I feel sorry for them. They're not putting any effort into the actual retail side of it anymore. Everything they seem to be pumping their time and resources into is either like something that's not out until next year or something they've done before. And I honestly don't think we should have an Overwatch 2. I think that's a cash grab. And I like Blizzard. I don't like Activision, but I like Blizzard.
So, what I was talking about there a second ago, I wanted to get a video up for anyone who doesn't know what I was talking about. Did you hear about what happened with Metallica?
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know, this was during BlizzCon. One thing that is always done at BlizzCon is where they'd get some sort of metal band, some sort of rock band, and they would play some songs.
Best one they ever had was Tenacious D.
I really liked back when they were this 60 Elite Tour and Chieftain. So I am Warlock and all them.
I love that.
But what happened this year, like only Monday, I think it was, Monday afternoon in our time zone, Metallica were playing. And if you were watching BlizzCon from Twitch, this is what you heard. So clearly that's not Metallica.
Certain, I didn't even watch this, and I know that they're playing For Whom the Bell Tolls.
See, it started with From Whom the Bell Tolls for like the first 5 or 10 seconds of it. But then because people, don't get me wrong, I love Metallica. But everyone knows how they were before when it came to pirated music. Twitch on their official channels for BlizzCon and Twitch itself played 8-bit folk music over their live performance because they knew that Metallica would DMCA them. Metallica came out afterwards and said they would have.
Down, lads. But then why would you pay someone to play it if no one can ever hear what they're playing? It doesn't make sense.
Because it used to be before BlizzCon and everything like that was played on Twitch. If you weren't at BlizzCon, the only way to watch was
the pass.
The pass which you had to pay for.
Yeah,
whereas if you're watching on Twitch, it's free.
But why didn't they just do it so that you either had to sub to something, you had to sub to the channel or whatever? You know what I mean? To watch the event.
Make the event a sub only event.
Yeah, like
that would have sank them.
Oh, I don't know. Like it wouldn't have been Blizzard's fault.
But that was the only one part. It was the 3 or 4 minutes that they were playing music. That was it. That was just it.
Yeah.
The rest of it was fine. The rest of it went ahead as scheduled. But it was just that someone in Twitch HQ and someone at BlizzCon both got in contact with each other and they were like, hold on a second. This is being broadcast for free. We need to dub this over.
So like what? Like who enjoyed Metallica? Like who got to see that? Like
that's the thing. If it was a live performance, that would have been the thing. Do you know what I mean?
It's just fucking ridiculous. I don't care.
Um,
All of this stuff is getting way too like out of control,
yeah.
and it's not just DMCA stuff I'm talking about.
Oh, just in
Well,
general. Just in
yeah,
general,
it's-
yeah. But as you said earlier, it is the internet and it is 2021.
Don't quote me.
But you said it. If you don't want to be quoted, don't fucking say things. Stop making sense, right?
um,
If you watch it from the BlizzCon website, it didn't write. One thing I've always noticed, like Alan loves to show up when we're about to finish.
you said it, not me.
Oh, you don't. It's the truth. But how are things anyway?
What was I going to say? Did we get any questions? Anyone got any questions? No.
There was none came true.
Or is there anything in particular through your weeks that you have a question about, or anything like that? I can't wait to test this thing whenever we get the chance to.
Actually, one thing that did come in, it wasn't so much a question, but it was something that I feel like if you saw it, you would have freaked out. But I feel like it would need to just quickly be addressed. Earlier, Tasha, what you saw was in World of Warcraft, each race had their own specific type of mount. So if you were a night elf, you had like a giant like tiger. If you were a gnome, you had a chicken that was made out of like he was a robot. If you were a tauren, you had a big elephant looking thing. Or no, that was Draenei. But so on. The mount for the Blood Elves, which is a new race for the Horde on in Burning Crusade, their mount is they do look like chocobos. So it wasn't, as you like to call them, Workles. This is nothing to do with Squaresoft. Like, this is nothing to do with Square Enix. This was BlizzCon, and that was the thing.
I love the robot chicken mount.
Have a question.
So I think
is that for me or is that for Maroxide?
If it's the house flipper thing, it's not me because
No, Alan's question.
All right. What is it, Alan?
He just said it. Sonic 3D, fact or fiction?
Is that the question?
See, I don't know, is he directing it at you in that sense, or is he directing it at me as still waiting for it? Yeah, I was waiting for him to say it. I was waiting for him to say it. I have no problem with playing it. It's just the fact that, you know,
it's the biggest pile of shite.
No, it's just life has gotten in the way for the last year.
There's way more important things. Danny, we are not even going to remotely look at that question. Excuse me, fan. Is that a question? Okay, here. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to watching you play that game. Just because I know how it feels as you're playing through it, I can have full.
I'm just glad, like, if I'm going to be playing Sonic 3D, I'm just glad I don't have a Sega CD so that you can't break it.
Apparently, that's what I do. It's yeah, it's been a weird week for video games. I'm super excited for just, you know, the fact that there's definitely Diablo 2. Let's just not beat around the bush.
Diablo 2, I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Oh, where's a genuine question coming
Go
up?
for it.
But
do you like pints?
I
forgot about that.
That is one thing I signed this week. I mean, if I wanted the experience, I think I'd just get one for my PC. I don't think. Is there going to be first of all, I wouldn't buy one on the fact that, sorry, just for context, we're talking about the PSVR 2. I don't think there'll be enough exclusives for it to want to get one, but I've a feeling they might get the RE8 one, which means Ken's gonna buy it.
I've heard there's a lot of like schematics and plans and all that sort of stuff after being leaked online and everything like that. And if a lot of the information that's after coming out about this new headset is true, then this will be more powerful than any headset that's available for PC.
Even so,
And they are making a specific type of controller for it, along the lines of the one that's there for what was the Index? It would be along the lines of the controllers for the Index, where you're not going to have to depend on, like, with one of the downfalls I felt anyway with the PSVR was the fact that if you weren't using controller, if you were using like if I'm using the Oculus Rift now,
Move controllers.
like if I have the Oculus Rift controller, I have this. It has a thumbstick. It has a bunch of buttons or whatever. Whereas if you were doing the PSVR, it was the PlayStation Move controllers, which never had like a D-pad or thumbsticks or anything. So even when I was playing Skyrim VR, let's say for my example, or Exorcist VR even, your way of moving, doing it on PC, you have the stick, you're fine, right? Whereas on PlayStation VR, you had to hold down one of the buttons, and then if you're holding it straight up, you're standing still. If you want to walk forward, you aim it forward. If you want to walk backward, you aim it backward. But then in Skyrim, that hand was your shield. It was your second weapon or whatever. So if you're there like trying to lace into people with your weapons, your character's like dancing little circles.
Yeah, VR was very, very far from being perfected anyway, as a whole. But I don't know. I don't see why you couldn't just have your normal PSVR for the PS5. Why do they need to? Why don't they just have a set of controllers that work with that instead of bringing out a whole new thing?
Because the capabilities in the PSVR itself have been far surpassed by other technologies.
I don't know. I just think for me, VR as a whole, we're not there yet anyway. But it's such a niche thing anyway. As actually Alan says there, it's such a niche thing anyway that it's not going to affect me one way or the other because I can't play it.
VR in itself is very niche, like not only with PSVR but in general. Like if you think about it, realistically, how much of the market, like gaming market in general,
I'd say less than 5%.
Do you know what I mean? So it's still in its early stages.
I think VR and stuff like that is stuff for arcades and stuff like that. I don't think it's stuff for home. I think if they're going to keep doing like VR and stuff like that, I don't mind like remember like for like first person on rail shooters and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff, but that to me would be my version of like a VR experience where it's like a first person thing. But I don't think having a VR headset like for free virtual reality is something where. Do you remember when you were at Gamerfest and you did that thing where you were shooting the zombies and stuff, and you had the headsets and the guns, and you were actually moving around
and we kept running into each other, and it kept breaking, and it kept fucking.
But that's what VR should be. It should be an immersive experience.
You can do that at home,
where your walking is tracked and stuff like that. But we're not there yet in terms of spatial awareness and stuff like that. I don't even know if we'll ever.
Yes, you can do that. It's just the fact that if you want that setup, it'll cost you about $2,000.
Yeah, but even at that, it's not there yet as a whole kind of thing. Even that needs work. For me, like VR, it's something that I thought was like the concept of it was cool. Like one of the first things I ever seen with a house was the Virtual Boy. Do you remember the Virtual Boy? Terrible idea. my cousin had one. I used it, but even then, because it's covering my face and it's like weighing me down, I got motion sickness. And all that was like literally like a Game Boy that you had to kind of you had to stick your head out the window for it to illuminate properly. Um, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Danny. Like when it's like that stage where Ready Player One's a great example, actually, where you'd stand on like a treadmill.
It's basically as if you're in a dream state.
Yeah,
in a sense.
That's
Because if you say the whole thing of if you're on a treadmill and all that, that is already out there as well. It's just that will cost you $700.
But like yeah, to the extent like where there's a difference between a treadmill and like a treadmill that moves in all different directions.
Omnidirectional space
like a
where you have
roller
special.
ball.
Yeah, that does exist.
Or give me a VR headset, a gun, and a dance mat, and let's have at it. Now that's the way to do it.
That'd be cool. That could be cool.
Yeah. See, Ken was disagreeing with me, and then he's like, "Hold on."
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that the stuff
I just don't think we're there
you keep
yet.
saying it'll be there if we have this, and the stuff you're talking about, it is a thing. It does exist.
Oh, it's not. It's not optimized to the hardware. Like, if you want to have this, you have to spend. Like, if you want a full
need
VR
the base
setup,
Oculus Rift, or else you need the Valve Index. You need the more powerful headsets.
No, but to have everything, like including the PC and stuff, we're talking like if you want to have everything,
$5 or $10
it's more, easily more. Like you're spending $1,000 on your graphics card alone.
But that's what I mean. Like it is out there. It's realistic, more for the arcade setting in that sense. Which like Wardy would be able to tell us more about that, since that's his line of work.
That's where I think it should be. For now, I think if you want a VR experience at home, you should only have to, like, the way the headset, PlayStation controller, it's just like looking into a screen. Like, that's fine. I don't think we need, like, because the Move, especially the PlayStation VR, the Move controllers were shocking. They were shocking when they were used for the PS3. But
like, they were good for stationary games like the likes of Beat Saber and stuff like that. But as soon as it was a game where there was locomotion in the game, that was the downfall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, especially hardware-wise, because of obviously the way that these things are evolving, for image quality, and realism, we need more powerful graphics cards and everything else to run these things. Like when you go to a VR place, this thing is designed to do that. When you're trying to do it on your PC is designed to do hundreds upon thousands of things. I think if anyone wants a VR setup, that they should have something specifically set up for it. But at the same time, it's just expensive.
Alan, I was just after sending you something there. That's the thing that I was talking about.
Yeah, image quality is a 4. Yeah, but the games and the infrastructure behind that, like, you can have anything. You could have 2 4K TVs, mount them to my face, whatever.
No, but it's when it comes to your head and it comes to your hands, that is in the hands of the consumer. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is still to become consumer friendly, and it's literally it's nothing about the technology. It's nothing about how it's built. It's just about the price.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you have to spend. You could easily spend $13,000 and still be a little bit short of having a 4K, 144 hertz, real to life experience with VR. I just like simulations and stuff like that. Like, I think it's it's the work of NASA. It's for astronauts and shit like that. I don't know. For me, it's a big waste of money for the limited amount of games and stuff like that.
I know,
VR
but then again, that's why there's so many different markets. There's different people, so.
I spent hundreds of quid on games from like 20, 30 years ago.
But that's my point. There's a lot of people who turn around to you and say that they think That's ridiculous. Or
Oh,
even the fact that when I
VR,
first, like even when I first built this PC, like you know how much all this PC was, and what was the first thing I did on it? I played Resident Evil 1 Classic.
Well, that's as you should.
Dude, no, but you know what I mean, like.
Oh, and if anyone else disagrees with that, meet me at Coppers. I'll fight you. RE1 Classic is
Dude,
the first game you play on any PC.
Dude, I cannot wait until we do a podcast and both of us are wearing the Hardy t-shirt.
I didn't buy one yet. Actually, I need to buy one. I'll do that when it ends. Oh yeah, I'll use code MER as well. But yeah, VR. You're saying VR pricing is dropping. That's because people don't have the facilities to run it. They have to buy upgrades to their PCs, their rooms. You know what I mean? Everything else, and that's why these headset prices are dropping. Also, by the time you get a full VR headset and a full setup, there's already something new that's better.
That's technology in a nutshell, man. You
Yeah.
can say that. You can say that about mouse and keyboard, camera, everything. But anyway, do you guys have a discount code for? There actually. Do you want to type it into the chat there? I can't remember how many U's there is.
I don't know. I think it's. I think it's
three
that.
U's. Was it 3 U's and 2 R's?
It's either that or it's that. It's one or the other.
No, it's 3 U's and 2 R's. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
And to understand what the mirror thing is, that you would need to get acquainted with our team member Clearly Brogan.
Yeah.
It's something from her stream.
It's if you look at her, she has. There's a limited time T-shirt up on the website of her
Which is
face
actually
doing.
it's only going to be there for another couple of days.
Yeah. Well, so is the Hardy T-shirt.
Yeah. So if you want the Hardy t-shirt or the Murr t-shirt, which the Hardy t-shirt's just on a t-shirt, Murr can be on a t-shirt, a mug, a hoodie, whatever. Those are going to be gone by next week.
Just buying a Hardy T-shirt. Yeah, Ken, I'm just totally listening to. I'm literally buying the T-shirt right now. Yeah, Ken, you keep talking. I'll just. Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll show people what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you here. Basically, this is just our team's website. Yeah. So we do have the merch option up here at the top. You can't see my cursor. Let me just do one thing here.
Don't worry about it.
There we go.
Just click on the things.
Right. Yeah. So we have the merch up here, and these are the different lines that are currently on there. There's the redirect itself. There's mine, the Malamphy Corporation. There's Moroxide's one here. There's Vox Geyser. There is Lucy Lover with his "Why didn't he do what I wanted him to do?" and him freaking out. And there's Clouded Rage. And the ones that are going to be gone soon are these. So there's the one of both me and Moroxide when we were doing our bouncer poses back in Limerick. And then this is that's the Hardy t-shirt, by the way. And then this is the merch. The merch.
Actually, down it's not on the website. Yeah. So,
Linus level segue? No. A Linus level segue pilot would be if we're just chatting away, all of a sudden, then I'd be like, oh, cups on teamredirect.com.
Yeah. It'll have me other one bollocks. Just keep throwing this up every night. Oh, I just threw water all over myself.
You're some pleb. But anyway,
teamredirect.com.
So we're going to leave it there for today, guys.
We're not mosey, but like there's a couple of things, you know. I'm just gonna fill up my peroxide mug with water. Goes well with water. Goes well with whiskey. Any kind of fluid you can piss in it if you want. I don't give a fuck. If you ever wanted to piss on my face, you could piss in it. I don't care.
As if you're not the first person who would do it, Alan.
Lies. Finally, a new. See, I can respect that. You know when you're having a gaming session, and you're like, I really need to perfectly good mug, piss on my face. Don't drink it afterwards. That's just kind of odd. But
this is Peroxide's version of the Gamer Girl water. But anyway,
I'm telling you, pissing on my own face is more entertaining than going to Gamerfest. The third or fourth, maybe fifth time around. Oh, I'm meant to be doing sign-offs and stuff. You're not meant to go first, Ken? Ken? Oh, the fifth time pissing in the cup.
Right, okay.
Ken?
Okay. Right. So, guys, thank you so much for everything again today for joining us. Earlier when we were playing Valheim on each other's channels, and now here when we're doing the podcast again, I'm glad that we're back doing what we need to do and getting everything done, just getting the communities back together and everyone's being able to interact with each other again. Yes, it has been a horrible fucking year last year, but we're getting off this year off on a good start. Things are going smoothly so far.
He screenshotted my piss face, didn't he?
No. There you go. But anyway, we're going to be back doing the usual thing anyway. I'm going to be playing Valheim in the next hour or two. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream it or not. But one way or another, I will be back again tomorrow. And we're going to be doing Operation Raccoon City and hopefully some Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 at the very least, as the next part of the Melathon. And then the day after, we're going to be doing Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil Code Veronica X, where we have the door skip mod, so that it doesn't take 16 hours.
There's nothing like a Belle Delphine, what's it called, meme to keep you going.
But anyway, that's for me, guys. Thank you so much again for everything. And I'm going to bring you over to this bastard as he talks about pissing on his own face.
Alright. Alan, love it, by the way. But definitely don't do that. Do not advise that. But yeah, guys, a couple of things. So yeah, how are yous? Hope everyone's well. Please do take care of yourselves. I'm gonna be roasting after laughing at that meme. But mugs. Yeah, mention mugs again. Yeah. So we have nothing planned. No, we we're planning on doing more Valheim. So if anybody wants to get involved with that and stuff, do contact us. We're going to try and do some of the skydiving stuff that they seem to be doing. Also, we have the merch range we mentioned already. You can check that out at teamredirect.com. I do want to mention, just a quick mention to Save Loads for Lives. It's an event coming up in April 24th and 25th. It's going to be a 48-hour event, so it'll actually go until Monday morning to raise funds for MS Ireland. We are very happy with some of the speedrunners we have involved already, and we are still looking for other people to come by and do a couple of runs and have the crack with us. We're raising money for a cause that's quite close to the team itself, yeah, I know I said last week I'm going to play RE2 Classic on the thing. I'm still waiting for my controller to arrive. I'm not using that other piece of shit, wherever it is. Where is it? This. Like, listen. Like,
You have your compression on. We heard nothing.
good. It's just as bad. Yeah, the springs in that thing. No, I just don't trust it. But yeah, so I'll be doing the RE2 on the Wii from the GameCube port probably next week. I'm going to do this first. I've talked about this a few times. I'm going to finish the Final Fantasy VII playthrough I'm going through, move on to this, and I will also be giving this one away. And I will spend most of my week feeding said dogs that Missy mentioned in the chat there on Valheim. There's so many already. For the love of God, people, feed your pets. From all of us here at Team Redirect, guys, we want to say thank you for tuning in. Have a good night, and we will see you all very soon. Oh, chat.